This is your lady with the word. I want to talk a little bit this morning about demon-possessed men running wild. There's a story in the Bible, Mark chapter 5, and it tells about the demonic Gadarene. It begins like this. When Jesus Christ met two unusual, fierce men, they were dwelling among the tombs, and people could hardly pass that way. And when Jesus came out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs. He was wild and fierce, and no man could bind him, not even with chains, because they had tried it once. They bind, and he picked the chains loose with his hand. And he lived in the mountains just night and day, just screaming and yelling and scratching himself, cutting himself with stones. What does that sound like? Wild man running loose. Almost like the times we live in today. Our young people in this 20th century running around like wild men and women, sleeping in the streets, demon-possessed, their minds completely deranged. Some estranged from their families, some disowned by family because of their evil spirits have torn them out of their lives, torn them right out of their family lives. When Jesus looked at this demonic man, when the demonic saw Jesus coming, he went chasing over to Jesus and fell on his knees, and he just gonna worship him. And Jesus said to him, "What is your name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legions, for we are many." A legion in the Roman army consists of 4 to 6,000 soldiers. So what did this mean? He had 4 to 6,000 demons living inside of him. You know, the devil do need bodies to operate. And the devil was begging Jesus earnestly that he would not send the devils out of him. But Jesus, there was a large crowd of pigs feeding nearby. And all at once, Jesus gave them permission. Jesus said, "Come out of him." You know, sometimes we have to stand against the devil. And you can only do that with prayer and knowing Jesus Christ. But Jesus, when the demon told Jesus that he was filled with many demons in him, Jesus had the power to expel the devil from him. So what did Jesus say? He said, "What is your name?" And he said, we are many. What did Jesus say? He didn't hesitate. He spoke to the demon inside the man. He said, come out of him. And do you know, the demon has to go when the word of God come upon them. And all at once, Jesus gave permission to the unclean spirits to enter into the pigs. And they went out and entered into those pigs. And when the evil spirits came out of the man, he wanted to give his life to Jesus. He wanted to get on the ship and follow him. But guess what? Jesus said, "Go home and tell people what good thing the Lord has done to you." And I'm thinking about today, I'm seeing some strange things that I don't quite understand today. If you don't believe, okay, you don't believe in demon spirits. But this generation had taught me with the Word of God. Why do you think people are cutting themselves, piercing their bodies? Demon possession. So they are doing the work of the devil. He has power and control over them. Why do you think policemen who are trained to protect and preserve lives are shooting so many black young men, even when they are in handcuffs, shooting and killing them? Why do you think these gangbangers are into these drive-by killings? They are controlled by the devil's evil spirit. They are wild men running loose, controlled by the devil. When this demon-possessed man saw Jesus afar off, he went running to him and fell down on his knees, pretending that he was going to worship him. You see, the devil recognized Jesus. He knows when people is filled with the Spirit of God, no matter how young or how old. You have control over him, and he hates you. When the demon saw Jesus, he started screaming with a loud voice, saying, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you that you do not torment me." See, he thought Jesus was coming to torment him. Did you hear that? The devil's talking about imploring God to do something. God don't hear you unless you belong to him. He don't hear your prayers. First of all, the Bible teaches us, obey those who have authority over you, and to pray for those who despitefully use you. God first, our president next, parents of children, church pastors who watch over our soul, police forces who is trained to protect. They are always to be honored and respected. They all have authority over us. We should always respect and obey. Lately, something has confused me. There are those who train to protect the citizen seems to be trained to kill them, especially if they're people of color. Something is wrong with this picture. People of color, beware. When you are approached by the officers of today, please obey with your hands up. Raised hands mean I surrender. Nowadays, raised hands mean don't shoot, especially if you are a person of color. I'm reminded of Trayvon Martin's killing, Mike Brown's killing, and the 12-year-old Rice boy, all shot and killed by the gun of policemen. And what about the guy that the police choked to death? 5 or 6 trained to kill on top of one man. God forbid. Something is truly wrong with this picture.